Welcome to a Sunday afternoon at the ballpark. It is overcast. The tarp was just removed from the field, and we are a few minutes away from baseball. Rockies trying to take this series against the Milwaukee Brewers. They won on Friday night, lost yesterday 7-5. Colorado and Milwaukee began the season playing each other. This will be the final matchup of 2013. And welcome upstairs, everybody, with my partner, George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Glad you're with us. As always, Jolie Chassin goes to the hill today for the Rockies, and as we like to say, that is usually a very good thing.
Right here in this ballpark, you better believe it. He's 6-2 since June 1st. He's throwing the ball extremely well, 9-5 on the year. He's going to go against Hand, a guy that's kind of an overachiever. He's been in the minor leagues, back to the big leagues. He was the last guy cut in spring training. He's going to throw strikes, keep the ball down. But for Chassin, what he has had the ability, he gets a lot of swing and misses on his slider. This is the one pitch, 38% swings and misses. What he's been able to do more than anything that I've seen is pitch. He's taken the fastball, he's running it away. When right-handers come up, he can make the slider tilt a lot or not as much. But this obviously a very, very good pitch by Chassin. And look for big things out of him in this ball game. They want to turn this around. Last night, offensively, they get 5 runs on the board. The night before, 8. They know they can go score. They want the offense to kick in to back what this pitching has done of late. Yeah,
the pitching has been very good. Obviously, they didn't get a great start yesterday, but Chassin, since June 1st, has a low 3 ERA. Rockies did make a roster move earlier today. Colin McHugh, who made the start last night, was sent back down to AAA, and Jeff Francis was recalled. Now, it's not Jeff Francis coming in to be the 5th starter. He's going to work out of the bullpen.
Yes, he is, and that's what he'd been doing since the breakdown at AAA. He'd been down working out of the bullpen and throwing pretty well out of there. 5 2/3, 3 runs, 1 earned. He didn't give up a home run. He's keeping the ball on the ground. And this is what you need. When you need length out of your bullpen, this is a guy you can go to. Obviously has been there in a crunch doubleheader. You need a guy to make a spot start. He's your guy.
All right. Well, that's the story on pitching right now. When we come back, we'll talk slugging or ex-sluggers. Ellis Burks is in town, and we'll visit with the former Rocky star when we return to Coors Field in front of first pitch. it was successful. What a great career Ellis Burks had. 18 seasons in the big leagues. We showed him upstairs last night. In fact, he'll be on with us in the third inning this afternoon. More than 350 home runs, more than 1,200 RBIs in a wonderful career. For more on the former Rockies center fielder, let's check in with Mark Stout. Mark?
All right, Drew. Ellis Burks broke into the big leagues in 1987. He was a first-round pick of the Red Sox. His rookie year, he had 20 home runs. In fact, his first home run was off Hall of Famer Don Sutton. Then he moved to Colorado, played here from 94 to 98. 5 very productive seasons. He was an all-star in 1996. That was his monster year. He hit .344, 40 home runs, 128 RBIs, 32 steals. Somehow, he was not the MVP. He finished third in the voting that year. Here's Ellis.
You know, it was a great season, you know, and I think back on it, and I was very disappointed with the outcome, you know, but numbers-wise, I mean, from day one to the end of the season, I was on. And it seemed like every team, every player should have a season like that just to sit back and look back on it years past. And I do. I look back on it and be like, wow, that was a pretty good damn season.
Sure was. He also led the league in runs scored, in total bases, had 211 hits, and I said finished third behind Ken Caminiti and Mike Piazza. But he's in the house. You saw him throw out his first pitch to his 19-year-old son, Chris. And you know what, Drew? He and his wife, they're going to come back to Colorado and do some house hunting and may locate here in this fine state coming up.
You know what? So many athletes, once they play here, they try to find their way back. It'll be good to visit more with Ellis Burks a little bit later on. Rockies all set to go. It's Colorado and Milwaukee. Come on back to Coors Field with us. By your 7 neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Bluebell. Bluebell Ice Cream celebrates National Ice Cream Month in July. Try our newest flavor, Rock Slide Brownie, and celebrate with us today. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. A little cooler this afternoon. Of course, last night there was an hour and 45-minute rain delay. Here's a look at this afternoon's weather, brought to you by Bluebell Ice Cream. Temperature in the mid-60s right now, and there is the possibility of a rain shower or two. Keep your fingers crossed that it comes after the ball game is over. The weather is warm in July typically, and Bluebell Ice Cream reminds you it's National Ice Cream Month. Treat yourself to Bluebell's newest flavor, Rock Slide Brownie, and celebrate with us today. Sounds like a great plan. Stepping up will be Ricky Weeks. Ricky will lead things off again for the Brew Crew. Comes in with a 217 average. He started a 3-run rally in the first inning last night with a double to the left field corner. And Chacin, with that first pitch strike, he's really working that sinker more so than ever before, trusting it. It used to be sinker and then he'd quickly go to the slider. He's been pounding the zone just like that, and that just was south of the knees with another hard sinker. 9-5, looking for victory, George, number 10.
87 miles an hour up to 89 miles an hour with the hard sinker that he likes to throw. The slider is the swing and miss pitch. Ground ball average for him around 18%. Strikeouts are up. At home, 6-3, 442 this year.
1-2 on Weeks. And that is strike 3. And that's Rembrandt, as hitters would say. He painted the outside corner with a hard two-seamer.
Fastball outer part of the plate. It did catch the corner barely, but it's nice to see Corey Blazer calling the pitch. Here's the Arsenal fastball. Up to 89, almost 90 miles an hour as it was that last pitch. Slider he'll utilize as his #1 secondary pitch. Occasional curveball and changeup. He likes to have quick innings. That's why he's working deeper into the ball game with less amount of pitches all the time.
Nori Aoki is at the plate. He's had success against Chacin in the past. Here's our umpires. George mentioned Corey Blazer, who's a local product. He's behind the plate. Angel Hernandez at first, Doug Eddings at second, and the crew chief Dana DeMuth is at third. Fastball down, 1-1.
And for the park Chacin pitches in, least amount of home runs allowed percentage-wise per 9 innings. Wainwright's #2, Sanchez 3, Harvey 4, and Lynn 5.
Oki pokes it to Arenado from his knees. Out at first. What a play. That guy defensively is worth the price of admission by himself.
And he gets great reaction off of the bat. Talking to himself a little bit along with Tulowitzki. Slapped at him hard. One hop, you dive, you hope you get leather to it, and he does it. And then from the knees, even though he's from his knees, think about how much awareness he has to get himself balanced with the outstretched leg to make the throw accurately. Yeah, just a great player.
I was talking to Tulo this morning about Arenado, and he said, I love to watch him. He said, it's helped me out. I move over a step or so up the middle because I know he has so much range. And I said, he's got just incredible hands. I said, he really has shortstop hands. He said, absolutely. Quick strike on Jonathan Lucroy, who went deep last night. That misses, 1-1. Lucroy batting third tonight, or today I should say. Last night he batted cleanup. Let's take a look at Ron Renicky, who's in his third year. His lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Carlos Gomez will bat cleanup, then Gindel's in there again. Betancourt moves up in the lineup. Francisco Bianchi is at short. This ball to left field. Corey Dickerson in left center will make the catch. You notice that Gene Segura is out of there. That arm is a little bit sore where he got plunked last night. He stayed in the game for an inning or two and then had to come out. So no Gene Segura, the leading hitter for Milwaukee today. No score, good inning for Chacin. 7-5. Let's take a look at the Rockies lineup. At the top will be Dexter Fowler again. And it's a little bit different for Walt Weiss this afternoon, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Corey Dickerson's going to get the start in left field. He'll bat in the 2 spot. Then Tulowitzki, Kadire, and Helton. Cargo continues to sit out. He's not played in this series. Nolan Arenado will bat 6. Yorvi Torrealba's doing the catching. He has swung the bat well all year. Johnny Herrera has swung the bat well from the left side. He'll bat 8th in front of Chacin, who's no slouch with the bat. And another swing guy, Tom Gorzolani, a veteran swing guy who worked in the bullpen and also as a starter. Donovan Hand, the same situation for the 27-year-old.
And he does really well with runners on base. Without, they hit the league's hit 360 as a starter. With somebody on base, 197. So he makes pitches to control. He'll start the game out of his stretch position. He's not somebody that's going to throw it particularly hard, but he does throw an awful lot of strikes. Fastball, he'll run 290 max. Curveball's the swing and miss pitch, and he will use it quite a bit. From 69's the average. He'll throw it in there at 63. This is a veteran minor league guy that's made a lot of starts at the minor league level. 226 to be exact.
Well, you can see, George, he doesn't even use a windup.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and again, a guy that's been working out of the bullpen the whole time, that he does this, and that's pretty typical of guys that are swing guys that haven't developed that windup. Just pick up and go.
2 strikes on Dexter. Shows a fastball away. It's 1-2. Dexter just 4 for 31 on the homestand. And that is looped to short, and an easy play for Bianchi. The Brewers defense is brought to you by Excel Energy. Make the choices that fit your life, and Excel will provide you the energy to power it. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Gindle's in left field, Gomez in center, Aoki in right. Their outfield is solid defensively. The infield, a little bit shaky. Jeff Bianchi starting at short, though, today. Weeks has 9 errors. Francisco made another error last night. He's got a dozen. Jonathan Lucroy's a good receiver. And here's a closer look at Bianchi, former 2nd-round pick out of Lancaster, PA. Corey Dickerson pinch hit and had a base hit to the left side last night. I was talking to him this morning, and you just tell he said, I have less jitters this time around. I know what to expect, and I'm going to trust my skills. He's a confident kid, and based on what he's done in the minor leagues swinging the bat, he ought to be.
380 average at AAA, 330 in Tulsa.
2 outs. Who wants tacos? We remind you, if the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. 2 outs, nobody on. Tulowitzki gets a nice cheer. Last night, he was the Rockies' hitting star, albeit a loss. He had 3 hits and 4 at-bats, including a home run to right. That's a strike. Here's another glimpse at what he did last night. He bounced one through the 5.5 hole. And then he hit a line drive straight away and got a fastball up and away, and he took it up and away. Tulo watches that one bounce up there. Troy leading the league in batting average at home in 2013. Troy's hitting .376 in his home yard, .402 overall against Milwaukee. Michael Kadire's 3rd in home batting average at .353. There are a couple of Cardinals on there. Matt Carpenter 2nd. Alan Craig is 5th in home batting average. And in the 4th spot, a guy the Rockies will see on their next road trip, Andrew McCutchen, hitting .346 at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. How come when the Rocky guys when they hit well at home, it's big news. Oh, it's Coors Field. But when there's two Cardinals in the top five, that doesn't count.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing how that works?
How about they're really good hitters? Last time I checked, Alan Craig's a really good hitter. Matt Carpenter's a good young hitter.
I get real frustrated with national media that watch the games from afar. They don't come here and watch over a consistent basis or do their homework of what it is. And you look at great hitters in the game.
Well, then
see what they do on the home and road. You'll see the same exact split.
As you mentioned, George, a few minutes ago when Chacin was on the hill, then give Chacin a lot of credit for not giving up any home runs here. Chatwood not giving up home runs at home.
You don't hear about that, though, do
De La Rosa,
you don't hear about that. They don't bring it up.
Three and one on Troy. High drive, deep left field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Number 19 for Tulowitzki. And the Rockies lead 1-0.
I'll say this for Tulowitzki. When he first came back from the All-Star game, a lot of swings almost looked going to right. I think that rib was still giving him a lot of problems. Well, the last two nights, you've seen him turn this thing loose, particularly on this fastball, when he got a ball that he could drive. It came to that inner half. 88 or 98, it doesn't matter. You're not looking in there. It's difficult to get to it and hit it with distance. That had run, but it was belt high, and Tulowitzki took it deep.
It was belt high, and it got belted. Here's Michael Kadire. Curveball flipped in there for a strike.
Coming out of this hand right now. See that sinker? Watch it run on a Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, but you got to see how Tulowitzki identified the pitch, too. His whole front side opened up and allowed his hips to get to that baseball. Pretty good swing on the bat, pretty good fundamentals here.
One and two on Kadire. Tulo's now 5 for 9 with a couple of home runs and 4 ribbies in this series against Milwaukee. Kadire goes down swinging, but the Rockies have a 1-0 lead on the big fly from the Rocky shortstop. We'll go to the second inning. 1-0 Colorado. Today's Sideline Report is brought to you by the Honey Smoked Fish Company, a ready-to-eat energizing superfood you can add to any dish that's healthy and delicious. Mark Stout has more. Mark?
Yeah, guys, Ellis Burks is in the house. It's Ellis Burks bobblehead night, part of the 20th anniversary celebration. This is a blast from the past after we watch this pitch. Take a look at this picture. When I say blast from the past, it's because these guys were the Blake Street Bombers, including Ellis Burks, and Larry Walker does want to include him in that picture.
Very close to being a Blake Street Bomber. Everybody always talks, well, why isn't Ellis involved in the Blake Street Bombers? Well, you know, he kind of is to us. You know, he had some seasons where, you know, he's hitting 40 home runs, but I think he was kind of the quiet one out of it that kind of would sneak in, and, you know, if we weren't doing the damage, he'd come along and clean it all up for us.
Yeah, don't forget about his 1996 All-Star season. 40 homers, 32 steals.
Mark, what's the matter with Arenado? How come he didn't get to that baseball?
He gets to everything, doesn't he?
Seems that way. That one snuck through for Carlos Gomez, the lead single in the second inning. First base runner for Milwaukee. Now you got to be concerned with him trying to steal a base. He had a few yesterday. 25 stolen bases in 29 attempts. I'll tell you what, you know who's thrown the baseball better than he has in years? Yorvi Torrealba. And for the first time, he told me earlier, in 5 years, his shoulder's not bothering him.
He's not having to catch every day either. I think that helps, obviously. And if you notice, you get here about 1:30 or 2. Sorry, fans, can't get in the park at that time. He'll be out long tossing a lot of times, building the arm strength up to help him in this situation. Plus, I think he's so fundamentally sound right now. His accuracy is off the charts.
Line drive, right center field. Kadire can't get there. He grabs her with a bare hand. That's going to keep Gomez from scoring. And safe at second. That was pretty close play. Caleb Gindel just did get under the tag, so it's second and third, nobody out. That was a great play by Kadire and a great throw. Ball goes to the wall. Gomez is going to score standing up. Gindel's going to have a triple.
No question. Mike Shaw Supermo right here, trying to run that sinker to the inner half, runs back to the middle. Squared up by Gindel, and it's going to hit into the outfield. Kadire, look at this play. Barehanded, snaps the ball, then the snap throw back in. I thought the play was a little closer at second. See, I thought they got him right here. Tulowitzki tagged him on the forearm. I guess the hand got in. We're going to see it on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. This is the ones Drew and I like to watch right here. Hands not there, hands not there. Out.
I thought the hand was on the bag. We'll have to look at that again. Inside.
Well, it doesn't really matter now, I guess, because they're obviously second and third. And nobody out here. Going to be hard for Chassin. See, I thought he tagged him right here. Fingertips may be on the bag. Boy, that's close.
Yeah, it's hard
Can't tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It was bang, bang. Betancourt with a 1-0 count. And this is a bloop that'll be an easy play for Herrera. No advancement, 1 out. Take a look at the Rockies defensively. It's brought to you by Excel Energy. We bring you the energy you need so you can live the life you want. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Juan Francisco coming to the plate. Here's the Rockies gloves. Dexter's in the middle of Dickerson and Kadire. It's Arenado, Tulowitzki, Johnny Herrera, and Todd Helton again in the infield. Todd has started all 3 games, and Yorvi Torrealba behind the plate.
Just looking at this defensively also at this point with Todd. And you see Torrealba and Chassin making sure they're on the right page with the left-handed hitter Francisco up here. You know what? Hey, let's think about this a little bit. Let's make some pitches. Make him hit our pitch. You got a guy in the on-deck circle that doesn't play regularly. Maybe we can, the old intentional, unintentional walk here, just stay out of the middle of the plate where his power zone is. Middle half in and down.
And he's a guy that crowds the plate. Hit a home run last night. At the time, it gave Milwaukee a 6-0 lead.
You know, Drew's talking about the distance between himself and home plate, standing over the top of it. A lot of guys are back here, and where he's standing right up on top of it. Still very close.
Two and 0.
You know, a lot of times pitchers don't want to. They're going to go ahead and walk him now. Walt just say, you know what, we'll walk and put him at first base, try to get the double play and hold on to this 1-0 lead.
It's a good baseball move.
just control the inning for your pitcher. Is the way you're doing. Now you're banking on the fact you got a sinker ball on the mound that could do it. Take a Bianchi, go right at him with the hard sinker and get it. Get discounts and scoreboard recognition when you bring a group of 25 or more out to the ballpark. Give Coors Field a call. Rockies.com/groups if you're on the computer. Otherwise, just give the Rockies a phone call and they can help get your group into the yard with some pretty good seats and a pretty good day at Coors Field.
Bianchi making just his 3rd start at shortstop this year. Segura has started 99 times there. Bases loaded, 1 out. It's fouled off. Chassin has induced 13 ground ball double plays this year. 11 have come at Coors Field.
Bianchi's scoring position, he's hitting 238 on the year.
Back up the middle, and that's a bad break. It's going to be an infield hit. That would have been, had Chassin not put a glove on it, would have been a very easy double play for Tulowitzki. Instead, the game's tied, bases still loaded, and Donovan Hand coming up.
Bianchi does what he has to do. He got this ball right back up the middle. It ricocheted off of Chassin's glove. Ball's hit hard, but I still think, I agree with Drew, I think Tulowitzki probably, because he broke when the ball was hit. He's probably going to get to that baseball. All he can do is redirect, pick it up, and hold the runners from advancing.
So Donovan Hand with the bases loaded, whose hand has been hurting. We'll show you why. This was in his last start against the Padres. He went to bunt, and he got hit on his pitching hand. He threw a bullpen on schedule the other day. Because it went well, he was able to make this start. But he's a little jumpy at the plate. Yeah, understandably.
I know the feeling. No, you never get the hit, and all of a sudden the guy does this, and it's like, oh, it's got me. Oh, he thought he'd gotten hit. Oh, you could have fun with that in the locker room.
Fastball that hit him was traveling at 97 miles an hour, so that's not a lot of fun. They'll come home with it, and then Torrealba, low throw, but Help grabs it. So in the inning, a run scores, and then the Rockies get the 1-2-3 double play. We're tied at 1 as we go to the bottom of the second. If you're looking to save money by using electricity, do it wisely. Find out how you can do it wisely at togetherwesave.com, your local Touchstone Energy cooperative, delivering reliable power, energy-saving tools, and more. Donovan Hand completing his warm-ups. Last night, a crowd of more than 38,000, though not a whole lot of folks when the game finally was completed. Usual that you have a rain delay in the middle of the ninth inning. That's what occurred, an hour and 45 minutes. And then the Rockies went very quickly in the bottom of the ninth. 2 punch outs and a fly ball to right field against Jim Henderson. Sun trying to peek its way through the clouds. Debbie Downer, or Dougie Downer, better known as
Dougie. Did you change your name to Debbie?
Well, Dougie, whenever there could be the possibility of weather, Dougie informs us that, it doesn't look good. And now the sun. Did you report that the sun was going to sneak through in the second inning? You didn't do that.
You got that part right when you looked outside.
Hilton at 259, 7 home runs, 33 driven in. Outside, ball 1 on Todd. And originally a 14th round pick.
What Hand understands is he doesn't have a fastball that he can really ride in on the hands of a left-handed hitter. So he pitches to his strength. Another sinker right there on the outside corner at 88. Steady diet of it. He's had 2 very close to the corner edge of the strike zone and down. This pitch called a strike. Todd obviously thought that pitch was low.
Saw Corey Blaser call that pitch for Chassin, swung on and missed. He was calling the low strike. Hilton gone, 1 out. 2 strikeouts for Hand. Toyota Talk will come your way in the 5th inning. Fire your questions to us at 720-720. Text the word Toyota first. Nolan Arenado. Nolan, a couple of hits on Friday, held hitless yesterday. 8 for 30 on the homestand. The Rockies 4-5, a disappointing 4-5 on this 10-game homestand out of the All-Star break. Two outs. So 2 outs and nobody on. Yorvi Torrealba will come up. Yorvi, since the end of May, hitting .333, 21 for his last 63. Strike 1.
This guy pitches a little bit. That's kind of the scouting report I got from a number of the scouts here that are working the series. He knows how to pitch. Got a little bit of the slow hook. You get a look at it right here. Sometimes 65 to 72 miles an hour.
And Torrey pokes one to center field. Another base hit.
right out of the hand. Quick arm, quick front side to sell this, and all of a sudden he just flips it out there. But at altitude, if he doesn't get up on top of this thing, it stays a little elevated. Even though that pitch was off of the plate, it takes good hand-eye coordination by Torrealba to stay on that pitch and just flip it out into center field.
Johnny Herrera. And an easy play for Betancourt. Rockies done in the second inning. Rockies won. Brewers won. Back to Coors Field right after these messages. Sports is brought to you by the Ford Fusion. Quality you want, power you deserve. Ford Fusion, go further. By Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the Honey Smoked Fish Company, ready to eat energizing superfood you can add to any dish that's healthy and delicious. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. We go to the top of the third at Coors Field. The Rockies and Brewers tied at 1. The rubber game of this 3-game set before the Rockies head out on the road. Drew Gooden and George Frazier, Mark Stout. We welcome to the booth the real Ellis Burke, not his bobblehead. How you been, man?
Been great. How about yourself?
Good. You threw a strike to your son.
I took a little off of it,
you
just in case. Yeah.
Well, he can catch. He's 19. He's playing.
He can. But I didn't want to slip on the grass.
last night that would have been an issue.
Yes.
Chacin working to the top of the order. Ricky Weeks, Nori Aoki, and Jonathan Lucroy. What are you doing keeping busy? I know you're still in the weight room.
Yeah, I work out quite a bit. But as far as I just stay at home, play a little golf, take it easy, and I'm looking for a job. How about that?
Looking for a job.
Got to do something. I'm wearing my wife out right now.
Well, you were with Cleveland for quite a while, working there to help form that ball club and evaluate their players. And
exactly.
then afterwards, you've been with Dusty a little bit in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Once I retired, I spent 4 or 5, I think 5 years with the Indians with Mark Shapiro as a special assistant to him. And then once they changed everything over, Chris Antonetti took over. They switched it up. I'll let you announce this.
You know what? You know when you hit it at that guy, there's not a lot of announcing, right? or the guy at third.
Oh, I know. I
you
saw
have
that.
to be impressed. Huh?
He can play. Yes, you're right.
He can flat pick it. And you know what? You could play 18 years. And you did a lot of damage in this ballpark. When you come back and you see guys like Vinny and Dante's here every day, is it old home week?
It is. I mean, you know, it's something that I just look back on. We had so much fun here, and a great group of guys every day in and day out. We had so much fun, and we really loved being around each other, and I think that's what made it worthwhile. When you're playing with a great bunch of guys, it's always good.
Yeah, that's a big key, and we saw Walk not all that long ago, and Big Cat was here a week ago. You're in town. And I think that's sometimes lost. It wasn't just that there was all these great individual talents. You guys all got along really well. It was great chemistry.
It definitely was. And you know, Don Baylor definitely he made sure that in spring training, of course, you know, with the work ethic.
You know what? That, believe it or not, that's Nori Aoki's 3rd home run in 7 career at-bats against Chassin.
Wow.
I mean, this kid doesn't hit a lot of home runs. And Chassin doesn't give up many home runs,
right.
and that's his 3rd. I mean, this isn't Albert Pujols at the plate.
No, and again, you're getting the ball in the inner half in the Japanese style of hitting where he's already running and bailing a little bit. You get a ball up in that upper half of the zone. It allowed him to get there. The 2-inch choke on the bat also, the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. You can get a pretty good look at that, and then the fly to the baseball.
That is true. And of course, as a professional player, you always have 1 or 2 pitchers that you hit very well against.
And who was your guy?
My guy was Eric Hansen. He was a pitcher for Cincinnati and Seattle. And I think overall the numbers were pretty impressive, because once a pitcher comes up to you in the outfield while you're shagging and he's doing his running and asks you, am I tipping my pitches? So you know you have him.
That's just the 4th home run Chassin's given up all year. So it's 2-1 Milwaukee. And Lucroy is going to hit a little comebacker.
I thought maybe he walked up to you and said, hey, thanks for the suite in the limo when I got to town.
All right, we got to take a look at a picture from back in the day. And who looks the same? You look pretty close, my friend, to how you looked a few years back, shall we say?
Yeah. Well, you know, I try to stay as active as possible at home. You know, I have 3 daughters, and I have guys coming over trying to date my daughters.
Understood.
So therefore, you have to be in good shape to let them know.
And you think, if you don't think I can get out of this chair and get you just try me. That's right.
That is terrific. I understand you're thinking about relocating.
Yes. My wife and I have been talking about it, and she really misses it out here as well as me. And we've talked about coming back out next month before my surgery and looking at some places.
Okay. What kind of surgery you have?
I'm having a knee replacement done on my left knee. I know. That's a good one. Woo. I'm not looking forward to the rehab on that.
Oh, it'll be a piece of cake.
Oh, yeah?
Piece of cake. No.
You know what's funny? Because we see Benny every day, and Benny comes out on the road. Benny looks great.
Yes.
He's in the weight room all the time. Walk was in a couple weeks ago, and we see Walk during fantasy camp. I don't know. Have you seen Larry lately?
I've seen him in spring training when they had the national team.
Okay. Larry, and he'll tell you this, and I hope he's listening right now, because then I know he'll text me. Larry's in better shape right now than he was at the very end of his career, physically.
Is that right?
I mean, he's strong as an ox right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So all you guys take care of yourselves.
Shape,
Big Cat looked like he still hit the ball over the moon.
He probably could, too.
Carlos Gomez at the plate. And Carlos is gone. Can you stick around another half inning?
Oh, sure,
You good?
yeah.
Ellis Burks is our guest. A home run from Nori Aoki has given Milwaukee a 2-1 lead, middle of 3. customers. Get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Chacin will lead it off against Donovan Hand, and then the Rockies will have the top of the order led by Dexter Fowler. With George Frazier and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. Ellis Burks continues with us on Ellis Burks Bobblehead Day. I'm sure that you had one back in the day, didn't you? Did you have a bobblehead day?
Yes.
Is it a little weird seeing this little, plastic object with your head bobbed?
It's an honor, man. You played for so many years, and all of a sudden they give you a bobblehead. You have a bobblehead day. And the good thing about it, this particular bobblehead looks like me. I have one, I think it was with Cleveland, looked like Isaac from the Love Boat. So this one actually looks like me.
You know what? You're revealing your age now. Because there's a whole lot of folks out there going, Love Boat.
No,
Right.
those shows are on
Julie?
TV Land. When you're flipping, you just see it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on TV Land. Right.
Julie's retirement age now for the Love Boat. Isaac from the Love Boat, man. That's a reference we haven't had on the air in a while.
Yeah.
Chacin bounces one to Francisco, 1 out. What aspect of the game do you miss the most?
Well, overall, I just missed the whole game. Preparing myself for each and every day. It was all preparation to me. Each day I'd go to the batting cages, get my work done there. I'd go into the film room, look at video, seeing exactly what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right in that particular day or week, whatever. And then, of course, just going over things with our hitting coaches or whoever. But I just miss everything about the game. And it's pretty tough for me that first year of retirement, having nothing to do. And then all of a sudden you're sitting at home and you're watching every game. And I could see myself as a fan criticizing, swing at the pitch, will you? And I could see how people used to always do that with me.
George has said this a lot.
The game's real easy up here.
Yeah, George, of course, George finished in '87. He's been up here a long time. Jeff Houston was up here. You look from up here, and it's easy to forget how difficult it was down there.
Absolutely right.
This toward left center field, and it's going to drop for Dexter, and he'll take a wide turn, put on the brakes, a 1-out single.
I like the aggressiveness from Dexter. Even on a single where he's not going to go he takes that wide turn just in case the guy in the outfield bobbles the ball. It gives you an opportunity.
Well, here in this ballpark, I call it the Ponderosa. You get opportunities because when a ball gets into the gap, you get a guy. And trust me, Gomez understands that. Watch how he goes after this ball aggressively to get it back in, too. He understands what this top of the lineup can do offensively when they get on a base pass, particularly a guy like Dexter.
Hey, Ellis, this is just for you, by the way. Ready? Dex, nice job. Well done. That's just for you. How about that?
That's a good one.
There we go.
You like that? That's good. I like that.
And let me tell you what, there's no resemblance between you and Isaac, so I don't know what happened with that other bobblehead. Corey Dickerson in his second tour of duty with the Rockies at the plate. Dexter at first base. Do you check in on the Rockies, or are you able to catch some games with the package and everything?
Especially this year, since Walt became the manager, I always watch the games. In fact, I tune in and hear you guys all the time.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Great job you do.
It's very kind of you. A lot of you, again, not just Dante, but guys you played with and against, guys like Walt Weiss. And Walt's like yourself. He's like Dante. Very professional in how you went about preparing, as you just described, to play the game. Walt's the same way now as a manager, and like this, real even keel.
You don't lose that. I mean, that's something that's going to be with him the rest of his life. You prepare a certain way in life. It's the same on baseball. I mean, life is like baseball. I always, try to explain that to my son. And he always asks me, what do you mean? I said, you work hard, you prepare yourself, and that's the same way I do with the kids and at marriage, 22 years. I mean, it's all a job. You have to work at it.
Did your wife look at you when you came home and all of a sudden you didn't have to leave on February 23rd for spring training? So what are you still doing here?
No, let me tell you something. My wife, she loves it when I get out and go there, but I have to make sure I think about leaving after her birthday. Her birthday is February 12th.
Okay.
And this past year I left before her birthday and I haven't heard the end of it. So I will stay until her birthday.
Dex going, and the throw's going to get it. Jonathan Lucroy with a perfect throw to cut down Fowler. Just the 5th time he's been caught this year.
Everything going right now for this Brewer ball club. Pretty easy pitch because it's down and away from him, so he's already an ability to move the body in a throwing position and very accurately throw it into second base too. Deck's got a pretty good jump off of the reliever hand, who is a reliever, although he's starting today, but out of the stretch, a quick move and a quick throw.
So your son's an outfielder?
Yes.
Where'd he learn that?
Imagine that.
Imagine that. I'm not even sure about that. But, you know, he first started at second base, and I couldn't help him at all as far as, you know, infield, how the infield is supposed to be down in position. But he's definitely gotten a lot better in the outfield. He tracks it down. Looks like a younger Ellis out there. I love it. Right? I love it.
Real quick, cause in case we get a third out here, we'll let you enjoy the game. Fondest memory as a Rocky?
I have a lot of good memories of the Rocky. Opening day in Mile High Stadium, my first game with the Rockies. It was just one of those things. I was so excited to become a Colorado Rocky, and just to play in front of 70,000 fans. It was crazy.
That is great. Those were football crowds back in the day.
Yes. And, you know, of course, when I hit 40 home runs that year in '96, became the first 30-30. Dante and I were just talking about that. He got the 30-30 the very next day. It's just a lot of great memories here.
A lot of huge numbers that you put up, and woulda, coulda, shoulda been MVP perhaps in '96. There's still that bias, which we were talking before you came on today. George and I in the first inning were talking about how unfair the bias is nationally. Like Tulowitzki right now is leading the National League in home batting average. There's 2 Rockies on it. Michael Kadire is 3rd. There's also 2 Cardinals, but those guys will never be mentioned as hitting well in their ballpark. There's a lot of bandboxes around baseball now. Left-handed hitter in Yankee Stadium. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. But those players, they're great players. But it's always, well, you did it at Coors Field. Was that frustrating?
That's very frustrating, and I don't understand it because they put that asterisk by your name when you have tremendous numbers, and all of a sudden it's like, well, he played at Coors Field. But if you look at some of these guys, not only are they doing those particular and putting up those particular numbers at home, they're doing it as well on the road. You know, you can't say that he's only doing it at home.
That's like Todd Helton really frustrates me with the numbers he's put up out on the road in his career. A near 300 hitter, yet they seem to, a lot of people as he debate whether he's a Hall of Famer or not.
Exactly. I mean, that shouldn't be a question. He's leading the Rockies organization in every major category, offensive category. And
not only the Rockies organization, he's in the top 50 in a lot of career baseball.
I mean, it's amazing.
Do you know this? He's 18th now all-time in doubles. He's got 579 doubles.
Wow.
He's closing in on 1,000 extra base hits.
That's incredible.
A shot. Hand says, look what I got. Wow.
Hand in the hand.
Self-defense.
Yeah. Wow, Ellis, it's great to see you. Good luck with the knee replacement surgery.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And we'll see you around town. It looks like
Be
you're
careful,
coming back.
man. Have fun. Enjoy it.
Ellis Burks, it's his bobblehead day. It's great to see the former Rocky All-Star. 2-1 Milwaukee. We go to the top of inning number 4. AT&T trivia question. Henry Aaron hit 755 career home runs. How many did he hit as a member of the Milwaukee Brewers? It's a great question because the Milwaukee Braves became the Atlanta Braves.
Remember when they left Milwaukee, went to Atlanta, then Bud brought him back
at the end of his career. Bud Selig and Henry Aaron, very, very close friends. And there's possibility, George, that we'll see hammering Henry. Gindel hits this ball well to center field, and it is over the head of Dexter Fowler.
Second double of the ball game for him.
Ball's a little bit elevated right now from Chacin, which has been atypical for Jolis of late. I was going to say there's a possibility you see Henry Aaron when we go to Atlanta.
See, you show up. I mean, I know that it's such a thrill. The first time I ever met him, 1978, we went to the big leagues, and you watch it and you go, man, that's Hammer and Hank. I mean, you're in awe of those kind of guys. If you're not, something's wrong with you.
Yuniesky Betancourt hit a bloop to Johnny Herrera at second, and he takes ball 1. Ball, 1 strike on Betancourt. Brewers go on to Chicago from here to take on the Cubs. Rockies begin a lengthy road trip in Atlanta. That's bounced foul.
A tough road trip coming up. Pittsburgh, one of the better teams in all of baseball. You've got Atlanta playing very good baseball, 8.5 game lead right now in the National League East. Pittsburgh in second behind the St. Louis Cardinals with 61 wins.
It's going to be a difficult 4 weeks, George, because 20 of the next 26, as you saw in the graphic, are out on the road. And it's out east. Center field. Dexter makes the catch. 1 out. Well, the Rockies hit the ball hard against Hand in the 3rd inning. Dexter had a base hit. Dickerson had a short hit. And then look at that catch to Rob Tulowitzki. Hand must feel like he's under attack. He got hit in the hand in his last start trying to bunt, and this thing nearly took his glove off.
Yeah, I mean, he just stuck the glove down and found the baseball.
Glove made a nice catch.
Yep, sure did. And his hand stinging the whole time he's sitting in the dugout, too. 5 innings is the most he's gone in any one start this year. He's done that a couple of times out of those 4 starts, once against Pittsburgh and then Washington.
Juan Francisco, an intentional pass his first time up. That misses 1-0. Francisco, a career .359 hitter against the Rockies. Hit his 13th last night. And that's yanked foul.
Well, I tell you, dead pull cheating on the fastball. He's just looking inside the whole time.
1 ball, 1 strike. When you see that, George, how did you like to work a hitter?
I'll speed away, because they're already cheating way out on that front side. Get them out in front, get them on the ball, get a swing out of it, get a miss out of it. The Rockies are going to go right back in there again. And that ball ran back out over the middle of the plate. Dickerson will make a play on it. If you're looking for a unique venue to hold your next business meeting, ask about the Super Suite Conference Center located along the first base line. 303 Rockies, you can get the information about renting the suite, or the conference center, I should say.
Here's Jeff Bianchi with 2 outs. Gindel still at second base. be one of those deals again. You're going to be very careful here, and if it gets to a 2-0, certainly a 3-0 count, you may go ahead and just walk Gindel with the pitcher on deck. Or, excuse me, walk Bianchi with the pitcher on deck. Gindel's at second base. That was not where he wanted it, George. That was the old backup slider, missed by 3 feet.
But when you have a little bit of velocity behind it, and you have arm speed behind it, as a hitter, you look at it and think fastball in. See, I mean, you see how he gave up on that pitch? The hand relaxed, everything relaxed because it has velocity with it. If it's 74, 75, no, you stay on it and you do some damage to it.
Well, he's attacking now. It's 1-2. Chacin 6-2 over his last 8 decisions with a 3.20 ERA. That's from June 1st forward. Tell you something else about Joe Lease you may not know. He has a career 3.64 ERA. It's now the lowest ERA among Rockies pitchers with at least 50 starts. Ubaldo Jimenez is second with a 3.66 in 137 starts.
Ubaldo today shut out the Texas Rangers 6-0.
This is popped foul and out of play. This is the 87th career start for Chacin.
Derek Jeter, his first swing of the bat went over the fence.
Is that right?
First pitch, hit a home run today on his way back. And Soriano hit a home run today in a Yankee uniform. They went 6-5 over Tampa.
I'm going to tell you a remarkable stat. George, you're a former Yankee. You're not going to believe this. Do you know what? They hadn't hit a home run on the right side of the plate since June 25th when the former Rocky Jason Nix hit a home run. Prior to that, and there's a base hit that's going to cost the Rockies a run.
Yeah, not hit hard enough at all. Right off the end of the bat. Just had enough height to get over to a whisker.
3-1. The Bianchi single, his 8th RBI. Well, prior to that, Vernon Wells on May 10th was the last right-handed hitter for the Yankees to hit a home run. Over 2.5 months, they had 2 home runs from the right side of the plate.
Crazy.
So Jeter today, along with Soriano, who was just acquired in the last 48 hours. Donovan Hand at the plate. To third. Arenado sets his feet. And we'll go to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Rockies trailing 3-1. Helton and Arenado. It's time now for today's fun fact. It's brought to you by All Copy Products. A little bit more on Ellis Burks. In '96, Ellis Burks led the National League in runs, slugging percentage, extra base hits with 93. That's an absurd amount. And he was second in the league in hits, doubles, and batting average, .344. He was an all-star naturally, finished third in the MVP voting. And it's good that Ellis and his wife, his family, are going to be moving back to Colorado, it looks like. Good man. It's great the organization bringing so many
I think
of these
that's
guys
the key.
back.
Yeah, bring him back, Ben. Let him be a part of what the history of this franchise, and let the fans enjoy that a little bit.
Kadire struck out his first time. Rocky's been out hit 6-4. 27-year-old Donovan Hand. And that's line to right, stay fair. It is a foul ball.
The one thing about Hand, he has not come inside with many pitches. The one that Tulowitzki turned and hit out of the ballpark was a mistake pitch. This ball fouled by about 5 or 6 feet down that right field corner.
Two strikes on Kadire.
Got him to chase a slow curveball away. They've had 2 hard fastballs right down the middle now. One slow curveball again, flip it, but he'll flip it out of the zone.
Ricky Weeks and Francisco. You just keep waiting with this club, George, for the consistent barrage. The day after day where they're putting up 6, 7, 8.
13 runs the first 2 ball games. You walk away with a loss in one of them. That's tough. 8 runs the first, 5 the second. You got to walk away with a loss out of that thing. That's not easy for Walt Weiss to swallow.
Another 0-2. And another foul ball. That's off of Kadire's foot.
Get your tickets for Faith Day on Sunday, August the 11th, presented by Grand Canyon University. All fans are invited to stay for a post-game concert by David Crowder. Pirates will be in town. You've got the Rockies.com/fireworks apparently to get tickets for that Faith Day. 303 Rockies.
Hand has thrown 45 pitches, only 9 out of the strike zone. Oh, the slow hook again. Some news from around baseball. You mentioned Derek Jeter hit a home run in his first at bat back with the Rockies. It was the first pitch he saw upon his return. That was his game plan when he returned a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to fire at the first pitch. He ended up with an infield hit. Albert Pujols could be out for the year. This is center field and deep, but playable for Gomez. Pujols has been battling plantar fasciitis, and he has a tear in there. And there's some reports that indicate he could be lost for the year.
Another tough break for the Angels, although playing in a tough division right now. They have not won a lot of baseball games. Speculation surrounding what's going to happen with that ball club over time. The Angels, as they entered play today, 12 games back at 48 and 54. Oakland starting to run away with the thing. 5-game lead now over Texas, 61 and 43.
One to 0 on Helt. Yankees won that game against Tampa 6-5 after losing 1-0 last night. Inside the NL West, Dodgers and Reds are in the 5th inning at Dodger Stadium scoreless. Giants and Cubs at AT&T scoreless in the 4th inning. Padres have a 1-0 lead in the 5th down in Phoenix. Driven to right field and deep, and it is off the wall, and it kicks a long way away, and Helton's going to have the rarest of things for him now, a triple. A stand-up triple for Helton.
You don't need to look. He doesn't have one.
I need not tell you that's his first of the year. Dougie's scrambling, trying to figure out the last time.
Right, and
He
again,
had a triple.
he rounds first thinking double. At first, I think he thought a home run. Mike Shaw super mode missed the location. Todd made him pay for it. That's a ball that's on the middle half end. And as Todd loads to that backside with the long swing, struck out on a slow curveball last at bat. This ball hits about halfway up, and then Aoki doesn't know how to play it. It flies off of that wall. And by the time he got to it, Helton is standing at third. It's been a while since his last triple.
April 27th of last year, he had a triple, his only one. He did not have any triples in 2011. He had one in 2010. He absolutely went off in 2009. The legs felt good. He had 3. Didn't have any in 08, had 2 in 07. He had 5 in 06, which matched his career high. So for Todd, that was career triple number 37. Oh, and 1 on Arenado, trying to deliver him. And this won't get it done. This kicked off the wall, and Aoki had to run it down almost back in the infield. Todd thinks, oh, double. Now he looks and goes, wow.
Really turned it into high gear then. You know what helped with that triple? Everything was right out in front of him. When he rounded first, he saw how far Aoki was from the baseball, how far it ricocheted back up the line. He just took advantage of it.
Have to tell Dexter when he gets to the dugout he's about to catch him. Todd's 4th all time on the Rockies triples list with 37. Dexter's number 1 with 53. That's outside on Torrey Alba. This becomes one of those huge at bats, George. You get a triple with 1 out. You don't want to strand him there.
No, you got to be able to put the ball in the bat in contact. Now a base hit is what it's going to take, or a wild pitch off the screen.
Torrey drives this ball to deep left center field. Gomez on the run is going to get there. And Todd's triple will go for naught. He's left at third base. 4 innings complete. Milwaukee 3, Colorado 1. Moments ago, as we go to the top of the 5th inning, here's our AT&T trivia question once again. Henry Aaron hit 755 home runs. How many did he hit as a member of the Brewers? And the answer to that question is 22. Longtime executive with the Atlanta Braves. One of the greatest players, obviously, in the history of the game, and one of the classiest gentlemen on Hall of Fame Sunday. Nobody going in this year.
Nope.
Here, Ricky Weeks checks his swing. Ball 1. It's our Toyota Talk inning.
No, Biggio just missed getting in.
We'll show the list here in a moment of guys that were pretty close. Need 75% of those casting a ballot with the Baseball Writers Association.
Big inning here for me. I mean, for Jolice to be able to go out and shut this inning down here in the 5th. They're at the top of their lineup. They lead this ball game 3-1. They have a shutdown inning.
High breaking ball, and that's probably been the theme today for Chacin. He's missed up, which he generally doesn't do. Weeks 0 for 2. Three and 2. Swung on and missed. And that is the 3rd strikeout of the ball game for Chacin. 2nd time he has punched out Ricky Weeks. Who on the ballot would you like to see go in the Hall of Fame, Ron? In Fort Collins.
Well, I think Biggio belongs on it. I think he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
I think Biggio. I think Biggio belongs. I think Bagwell belongs. I think Piazza belongs. And I know
Piazza to me is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, hit over 400 home runs as a catcher, more than anybody else. Amazingly, there are not a ton of catchers in the Hall of Fame. Jack Morris is pretty close. Larry Walker we put on the list. That's the most for an ex-Rocky, just under 22%. Larry had Hall of Fame talent, just so many injuries prevented him from putting up the numbers he would have. Johnny Herrera will throw out Oakey. 2 outs. Who's your favorite Blake Street Bomber? Nick in Grand Junction. I'm gonna pick my favorite because we know them all. That would be sliding somebody. They're all. You know what? They're all good people on top of obviously having been great players.
I'd agree. Difficult to pick one guy. That went out there and played all the time and did what they had to do. I mean, I used to love watching Dante hit home runs. I just like to watch him hit. An admirer of one of the best 2-strike hitters in the game.
Jonathan Lucroy 0 for 2. 2 outs in the 5th inning for Milwaukee. What's Jeff Francis's role in the bullpen, Mike, in Westminster?
Long guy. He'll lead up some innings, 2 to 3 inning type person. Starter blows up. You're down in a ball game. You need somebody to pitch the 6th, 7th, and 8th. He's that guy. Jeff, as a matter of fact, was. Ball's going to get fair. It's going to get up the wall. And that's Lucroy with another base hit.
Lucroy's
really played well.
Yeah, he's played well all year, and he's had a huge July. He's hitting over 350 in July with 7 home runs. In fact, the only guy in baseball who has more home runs in July, or actually I should say in the National League, though he's not in the National League anymore, is Alfonso Soriano. He hit a home run today back in the American League with his original club. He's going full circle in his baseball life, Rich.
It's been a pretty good baseball life. He's going to get a chance now to not wait around to have something rebuilt in Chicago, but go to a team that still has an opportunity to win their division.
Inside on Carlos Gomez. What's the biggest difference between starting and coming out of the pen?
Well, the base thing is sometimes you're coming into a created mess. You know, you got bases loaded, one out, trying to get a double play ball. As a starter, you're starting the ball game. You're controlling your own destiny. And as a reliever, you're trying to shut down ball games and prevent any more damage 90% of the time. Jeff told me he was packing today to go down to Colorado Springs. They leave to go on the road tomorrow after a day game, and they contacted him about an hour before he was ready to leave. He had to go back and change the wardrobe a little bit. But all of his baseball equipment was in Colorado Springs. So they had to have it somebody drive it up today so he could have baseball equipment. I mean, he didn't have shower shoes, tennis shoes, baseball shoes, nothing. Everything was down there.
But Jeff continues to live in Denver. Gomez hits a hot pop to left field. Corey Dickerson waiting, and he's got it. Middle of 5 as Lucroy's left at second base. The Brewers 3 and the Rockies 1. Fifth inning. Hey, we thank you, as always, for texting in your questions during Toyota Talk. For more answers to those questions, visit the Root Sports Facebook page at facebook.com/RootSportsRM. Tracy Ringlesby.
Yeah, he'll answer now. Yeah, he'll answer a few of those today. The last couple of days, he's been up at Cheyenne Frontier Day, so maybe it's Jeff today. Maybe Jeff's answering a few.
Johnny Herrera lead things off. Chacin's on deck. Donovan Hand has allowed 1 run on just 5 hits.
Bat to the limit for him. I mentioned 80 pitches in 1 start so far. He's got 56 right now. What I mean by limit for him is 3rd time through the lineup. Once he starts to get there, they typically are going to have to go to their bullpen, as they do with a lot of guys.
Johnny pulls it foul. Rockies have won 8 of their last 11 at home against Milwaukee. Outside. 20 of their last 27 at Coors Field against Milwaukee. That dates to the 06 season. And Johnny hits it in the air to Gomez. Another easy play for Carlos Gomez. Been busy the last couple of innings. Here is the Hall of Fame class 2013. No players going in. Deacon White, well, I shouldn't say that, but Veterans Committee selection, a player who played in the 19th century. Hank O'Day, an umpire, almost 4,000 games, and an owner, Jacob Rupert Jr., who owned the Yankees through World War I into World War II. It's the European portion where it began.
10 pennants, 10 World Series championships.
Jolie Chassin grounded to first back in the third inning. And this one slowly hit up the middle. Bianchi will throw him out. 2 gone. And there's a whole list of guys that are controversial, and you know why. And here's the percentage of votes they received. Roger Clemens got 37.6%. Barry Bonds in the same neighborhood. Mark McGwire beneath 17%. Sammy Sosa, the only man to hit 60-plus home runs 3 times at 12.5%. And Rafael Palmeiro just 8.8%, over 3,000 hits, over 500 home runs. But, and long term, how those guys are dealt with from the Baseball Writers Association and the voting will be interesting to follow. And Dex lines this to center, and Gomez tracks it down in left center field on the move. The Rockies go in order in the 5th inning. 3-1 it remains. Milwaukee out in front. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Comcast. Advertise your business locally on the network's People Watch. Go to ComcastSpotlight.com for details. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. By Bluebell. Bluebell Ice Cream celebrates National Ice Cream Month in July. Try our newest flavor, Rock Slide Brownie, and celebrate with us today. 6th inning already. Caleb Gindel will lead it off. The Brewers ahead 3-1. Rockies have done very little against Donovan Hand. Tulowitzki had a home run earlier. That's it offensively. Gindel has a pair of doubles against Chacin. Change up inside. A 7-5 victory yesterday for Milwaukee. They had 12 hits in that ball game. They came into the series complaining about their offense. They lost 8-3 on Friday, but swung the bats well last night and swung the bats well today. 2-2. Rockies overall have done a good job, and they traditionally do against the Central. They're 9-8 this year against the Central. 3-2 against the Brewers. Final matchup of the year. Shallow center field. Dexter's there, 1 out. Let's go downstairs. Mark Stout enjoying sunshine now.
Yep, some blue skies too, and we're enjoying Ellis Burks bobblehead day today. 2 decades of baseball here with the Rockies, and he was here. Here's what Todd Helton had to say about a guy he only played a year with.
Ellis was he obviously was a good player. Swing the bat, go get the ball. You know, pretty much a stronger version of Dex. If you think about it. To me, he was a good teammate and a good person. Took interest in you, and as a young player, that was very important.
You know, Todd had the triple today. If you look at these kind of stats, 350 or more home runs, 400 or more doubles, 180 more steals, and 60 more triples, there's only 9 players in the history of the game that can rank in that list, and Ellis Burks is one of them. So is Larry Walker, Hank Aaron, who you guys were talking about earlier, Willie Mays. It's a pretty exclusive list.
Guys who can run a little bit.
Yeah.
So what does Helton need? 23 more triples?
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to make it to that 60 mark, but he'd be in the list then.
Well,
yeah, you know, I mean, he's feeling
that
healthy.
That would be something, wouldn't it, Mark?
That would be amazing.
Well, like Yasiel Puig,
he
he never sees a stop sign. He just keeps running.
Right.
I don't think Todd should do that.
No, probably not.
No, I think if they tell him to stop, he should stop.
We're laughing about that, Mark's report, because earlier Todd hit a triple. Hit a line shot off the scoreboard in right that ricocheted back all the way within, 50 feet of the infield. Norioka went all the way to the wall, and then he had to run all the way basically to the infield. Tell you what, honestly, if it was someone like Dexter who hit that, it's probably an inside the park home run.
Pretty good chance of that. Yeah. The way that happens, you really got to bust it out of the box once it's hit. You can't think you got a home run or a double and jog up that first baseline. You got to go hard the whole way.
2-0 on Juan Francisco. Change speeds. 1-2, or excuse me, 2-1. Chacin 6-3 at home this year. Most of his starts have come at home. Today's his 14th. Checking his 13th start at Coors Field. There's only one guy in baseball who started more games in their home park. That's Ryan Dempster. Bud Norris, Jordan Zimmerman also with 13. Zimmerman for Washington. Strike 3. Bud Norris for Houston. He's tough when he pitches at home in Houston. Good location.
Crouch the plate it is, because now you throw that fastball, you see that time the knee buckle and you lock him up, you get the fastball and you get the out. Swing for the fences with the new home run derby mobile game from MLB.com, available on the iPhone and iPad. Download for free today. You probably got that on your iPhone, don't you, Drew? The home run derby thing?
Of course.
How have you done with it?
Haven't played it yet.
So why would you have it on there if you're not going to play it?
Jeff Bianchi's a hitter, George. Moving on.
Dougie, you got it, don't you? No, you don't. At least you're honest.
Bianchi has a couple of singles that have produced runs. This one will not. Tulowitzki to Johnny Herrera. And the Brewers are done in the 6th inning. Rockies, we've been seeing this a lot lately, have to get the bats going, down 3-1. Look back. Rockies got a run in the first, the old-fashioned way. A long ball. Troy Tulowitzki second in as many ball games. Deep into the seats in left center in the 2nd inning. Bianchi at the plate, and this probably was going to be a double play, but it went off the glove of Chacin with the bases loaded, and it turned into a run. In the 3rd inning, Dorioki in 7 at-bats has 3 home runs against Chacin. Go figure. Didn't hit many home runs. In the 4th inning, it's Bianchi again, and a soft serve single. Chacin upset on where he located that slider, and that drove in another run. 3-1. Milwaukee leading. Cooney Lexus, where luxury has a new address. Now open. Beautiful new store in Greenwood Village. Corey Dickerson, Troy Tulowitzki, and Michael Kadire. Corey lined a single to left his last time up. And this ball well hit right center field. Got a chance. Goodbye. Home run. Corey Dickerson, his first career bomb.
Well, you said a lot more relaxed his 2nd trip. A hit last night, 2 hits today, one of them a bomb. You know, they're pretty excited. Pulled his glove within 1. On the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Bowl, trying to get that ball to the outside corner. It is down right in the wheelhouse of a left-handed hitter. He went down and got this whole thing right here. I know there'll be a guy down in Louisiana named David Inell. He's going to be pretty happy right now. It's signed and drafted Mr. Dickerson.
Here's Tulo. Takes inside ball 1. But we were discussing it earlier. He's sitting in front of his locker this afternoon after getting his work in the cage, just relaxing. And I said, what's the difference this time around? And he said, I don't have the jitters. He said, and he said, you know, I have confidence. And it wasn't arrogance. He just understands he's always hit. And his first time up, like so many big leaguers, you went through it, George, from a pitching perspective. It's all new, it's all big, and you're in awe, and it's hard not to be. And now he's about the business of doing what he's always done, and that is play hard and swing the bat really well.
People bring you to this league for a reason. They think you can play here. And it takes a little bit of time for you to understand the concept of what it takes to achieve what you want to here at this level.
Dyer hit a fly ball to deep center his last time up. Also a strikeout. Michael's 0 for 2. He's 0 for 3 last night. And Corey Dickerson, probably not going to be a huge power guy, but he's got it within him. In Asheville, when they have a short porch and right, but he still got hit it over the wall. He hit 32 in 106 games in the Sally League a couple of years ago. This ball driven right center field and deep. This has got a chance. This one's gone. Michael Dyer has tied it up. The cutting man can. Number 17 for Dyer.
And I talked about that third time through on Hand, that there's not enough deception to try to buy 3 times through the lineup against him. And they've made him pay for it here this third time through with the home run by Dickerson, now the home run by Dyer, who he had struck out and thrown out deep to center field. Hand just threw the hands up thinking, you know, make a pretty good pitch like this. All I can do is look up for the fly to the baseball, think a double, no, home run. This pitch going right where they wanted it to go, maybe off just a couple of ticks. That's where Dyer just took advantage of it on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. Tie ball game, and you get Todd Helton up, who had a triple in his last at bat, struck out on a fastball, sinking fastball down and away.
Yeah, Mr. Triple's up, Todd. So the Rockies have caught the Brewers. 3-3 with 1 out in the 6th. Outside ball 1 on Helton. Todd drives this ball to deep center field. Gomez near the track reaches up in front of the wall and makes a catch. Hands got him popping up now, George.
Yeah, got him popping up, except they're just popping up to people over the wall. Now one more look at Michael Dyer's home run into right center field.
Well, hit that ball 415 feet. Arenado 2 outs. And Nolan fouls one off. Ground out and a pop-up. And you know the pop-up in the 4th inning really eating at him. Had an RBI situation with 1 out, Helton in 3rd. With the infield back, and he couldn't drive in Todd. Torrealba hit the ball to deep center to end the inning. Love what Ellis Burke said. I have not met a successful big leaguer, from yourself to Jeff Hewson to all the folks that we talk to on a regular basis. When they go into broadcasting, or even if they don't, and they're sitting at home or they come to the ballpark, it's so easy to forget how tough the game was.
It's a very difficult game to play, and I think I'll be quite honest, I just never lost that perspective up here, because I can remember it fresh in my mind, hanging sliders, you know, and guys not making plays or making nasty pitches, and guys hitting line drives in the outfield for base hits, and you just kind of shake your head at it. It's a very difficult game to play, and it's easy from this perspective and in the stands and home on your couch to second guess. It's the easiest thing in the world.
1-2 on Nolan. And he punches one through the right side. Just went with that fastball away. Good piece of hitting there And that'll bring up Torrey Alba. Burke Badenhop, who we saw on Friday. Long, tall right-hander throwing. It's funny how bullpen guys work, George. Few would know better than you. Sometimes they get up and they're tossed, and other times there's a sense of urgency, and it looked like he had a sense of urgency.
Yeah, big time urgency to get that going. Trying to get ready, and you want to make sure he's ready for Torrey Alba. Didn't quite get there, so Hand with a lot of pitches thrown in this ball game, 77. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you worked out of the bullpen and been a 2-inning guy, it's quite a few. Here you are in the 6th. Tied ball game. Everybody with 8 hits. Rockies and Brewers, no errors on the board. 3-3.
He barked in at himself, turned 35 a little more than a week ago. Closing in on 12 years of service time in the big leagues.
Well, they got Gonzalez, the left-hander, going now, along with Badenhop.
0-2. And that is speared by the pitcher, Donovan Hand. In the inning, the Rockies get even with Milwaukee. They utilize the long ball. Corey Dickerson with his first career big fly, and no doubter to right center. And then 2 hitters later, Michael Kadire. He's accustomed to doing this. 3-3.
Rockies Weekly. We'll catch up with former Rocky Preston Wilson, visit the Rockies Youth Baseball Camp, and show you the top plays of the week. Don't miss Rockies Weekly today after the ball game. Nolan Arenado, one of the top rookies in baseball right now, defensively just playing lights out. A base hit in the last inning, but it was the big blow by Dickerson and Kadire. We're tied at 3. 8 hits apiece. Chacin out to start the 7th inning.
Schaefer got the start on Friday night, and he takes a strike. Ricky Weeks, Nori Aoki to follow in a 3-3 ball game. Pulled towards second. There's Johnny Herrera. He cannot overstate the importance of having a great infield, particularly when your pitchers throw so many ground balls. Great job by Johnny Herrera. Today's Cold Hard Fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. This is an interesting list that the folks in the truck compiled. There are now 300 members of the Baseball Hall of Fame. 33 executives. Probably surprised you that they're that number in. 20 managers, 72 pitchers. Of the players that play, that's been the most represented group, not surprisingly. Right fielders 24, shortstops 24. You know, you go on down. It's surprising to me, George, only 15 third basemen, which is a slugging position typically.
Guess there haven't many they felt like deserved to be in.
And the hardest position on the body is just 17 catchers.
Well, I think a lot of the problem with voting, and I'm not knocking the system, but I think as you look back at it, a lot of guys today that vote have never seen Jim Copp pitch. They never saw Tommy John. They've never seen Lee Smith. They're just looking at numbers. And a lot of them become baseball fans. They get caught up. That's an out.
Yep, Johnny caught it in the air.
They get caught up with the fact of sometimes fans interfere with what they're doing. That's high up there.
Yeah, that's from a mile high.
Who's up there taking that picture?
Probably Crash. Crash is a mile and 6 feet high.
Crash, get down.
'96 pitch misses. 1-1 on Aoki. Rockies 3 runs, all solo home runs. Tulowitzki, Dickerson, his first career home run, and Kadire. And this is a lob wedge, George. To Dickerson left. Nice job by Chacin. That's his last pitch of the ball game, even though he wasn't at his sharpest. 7 innings, 3 runs. Another winning performance for Chacin. We will stick around, as is our custom on this Sunday, and enjoy a rendition of God Bless America from specialist James DeMarco.
Fans, please direct your attention to the field for a special recognition. The Colorado Rockies are proud to host and honor those who sacrifice on behalf of us all. Today we recognize 4 of the United States Navy's top performers, setting the standard of excellence both at sea and on their current shore duty assignments while stationed throughout western Colorado and Utah. Please welcome Aviation Machinist Mate First Class Aubrey Blair from Grand Junction, Colorado. Aviation Electronics Technician Second Class Clarence Yates from Ogden, Utah. Aviation Administration Men Second Class Wade Burns from Layton, Utah. And Aviation Bosun's Mate First Class Harry Meyer from Provo, Utah. Their superior work ensures that our nation's best men and women are selected for careers in our United States Naval Service. Fans, please give them a warm Coors Field Heroes welcome, and to all of our nation's brave men and women, as well as the families of our heroes, we thank you for your service and sacrifice. Fans, please rise as we honor our great country by the performance of God Bless America. Performing God Bless America today, representing the Colorado National Guard's 101st Army Band from Buckley Air Force Base, is Specialist James DeMarco. Please welcome Specialist DeMarco and join him by singing along to God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
George Frazier, Mark Stout. Final game of this 10-game homestand out of the All-Star break, and the veteran hard-throwing left-hander Mike Gonzalez is on the hill. All kinds of trade rumors surrounding him, and it's not surprising. A veteran guy who pitchers from the left side, though of late, George, he has struggled.
Well, probably worried a little bit about the trade rumors. What's going to happen? Where am I going to be? Am I going to be anywhere other than Milwaukee? But a very strong arm and typically pretty good at that, too, fielding the baseball.
DJ LeMahieu will pinch hit for Chassin.
Jalise again, great outing, 7 innings.
You know, and George, that is a testament to being a pro and a top flight starting pitcher when you don't have your A stuff, and at the end of the day you've given up 3 runs in 7 innings.
Yeah, I mean, the last 3 innings he's throwing blanks up on the wall at 0-0-0 in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning. He's given up 8 hits, 3 runs. You got to win those ball games at Coors Field.
DJ 1 for 4, a double last night. He's got a 2-0 count.
Andrew, nice ball game too. 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs.
Yeah, you got to tip your cap to Hand. He did a nice job. 3-0 on LeMahieu. DJ started out the homestand 9 for his first 20. 1 for his last 13. It's in there, 3-1 count. Rockies trying to improve to 11-6 on Sundays. get a little momentum back in their corner before they head to Atlanta. And knocked down by Gonzalez. 2 outs. Auto glass damage. Call Safelite Auto Glass 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. Dexter's 1 for 3. He'll step up from the right side. Done a lot of damage from the right side this year, hitting .333. This ball well hit, right center field, way back and gone. Dexter Fowler has given the Rockies a 4-3 lead with his 12th home run of the year.
Right-handed opposite field, Dexter Fowler.
4 solo home runs for the Rockies. Love to see that smile.
Yeah, no question about seeing that smile. Man, oh man. Fastball got after it, right field. Gonzalez knows he's pitched in here enough. That ball sounded good off the bat. Aoki gives it a charge and a run and lands on the metal seats out there.
(4-3) Colorado, and now Chacín an opportunity to get a W. Corey Dickerson 2 for 3. He hit his first career home run leading off the 6th inning. And this is off the end of the bat. Gomez will get there. And that will end the inning. But the Rockies have taken a 4-3 lead as we go to the 8th. Mr. Belisle will be on. Dexter Fowler has put the Rockies out in front. The network's People Watch. Go to ComcastSpotlight.com for details. Rockies got a home run from Tulowitzki in the first, and then single run second, third, and fourth against Chacín. Gave the Brewers a 3-1 lead. 2 solo shots in the 6th inning. Dickerson and Kadire, and then Fowler in the 7th. So 4 solo home runs accounting for the entirety of the Rockies' offense. They're up 4-3. Matt Belisle's on the hill. And we'll show you one other change after this pitch. And the first pitch is in there, strike on Lucroy. Charlie Blackmon defensively for Corey Dickerson. It was a double switch, so Blackmon is in the 9 spot in the lineup. Lucroy, a dangerous bat. He's behind 0-2. Hit a homer last night. He has a double in this ball game. Two on Jonathan Lucroy. Breaking ball. See you later. Lucroy knew it. 1 out.
When you start to take care of the heart of this lineup, Bilal a good guy to do that. Slow curveball. It always has typically been slider. Matt got up on top of this breaking ball, spun it 12-6. You could see him give up on it, thinking it was going to be a ball on the inner half. Look at his facial expressions on Lucroy. Oh man, had his mouth wide open that he took that breaking ball for strike 3.
Another dangerous hitter, the cleanup man, Carlos Gomez. He has a home run in this series. Also today, he's 1 for 3. That's in there for a strike. Boy, since the All-Star break, George, those 4 days off were so good for Matt Bilal. He's picked up 3 or 4 clicks on the fastball.
He got a little bit of break off of the arm. I think, too, that Matt went back to his aggressive style. This ball's hit hard down the right field line. It'll be a fair ball into the corner.
Look out, Gomez can run, and interesting, he stopped at second. I thought he was going to turn it up.
Well, you got to respect the arm of Kadire, too. You got to be smart enough here that you can score from second. I understand that. Trying to get to third base, but you don't want to make that out over there either. Fastball ran right back to the middle of the plate. Gomez with power. He's shown an awful lot of that. Flies out to right field. The chase is on after the baseball. Kadire's going to play it off of the wall. And I think his accurate arm and a respect for his arm, you know, being able to get to Johnny, who has a shortstop arm, also prevented him from making that decision to go on to third base.
Caleb Gindel, 2 doubles and 3 trips. Starts him out with a breaking ball. He's got a short, compact swing.
Come down to the Blue Moon Brewing Company here at Coors Field and watch the Rockies play Atlanta this Tuesday from 5 to 8 p.m. Sample limited release beers and enjoy a lot of food from the local food trucks. So make sure you come on down here. While the Rockies are out on the road, you can come down on Tuesday, 5 to 8, watch the ball game, have your favorite little beverage there. It'll have some really good food.
1-2 on Gindel. Whoa, what happened there?
Matt didn't want to throw it. That's what happened.
Threw a grenade over there.
Well, he didn't want to throw it. He tried to stop everything and going on that pickoff move, and then all of a sudden, as he started to try to stop it, it just came out of his hand. And he said he's smart enough that he slowed down his arm speed. He did not want to make that throw at all.
One out. Gomez at second, tying run. Bilal saw Gomez trying to inch his way toward third. Tulo's trying to keep close.
Yeah, Dexter really got to be alert here. That if you do put on a pickoff play and you throw it and it happens to get by, you got to be really available and be quick in that center field position to get to the baseball.
Two and two on Gindel. Vinieski Betancourt on deck. In the air to left. Blackman backpedaling. 2 outs. And if you have windshield issues, call the folks at Safe Light Auto Glass. The phone number is 303-287-5000. Online at safelight.com. Rockies have come from a couple of runs down. They're up 4-3 in the 8th. Now 2 outs, and Yuniesky Betancourt, who singled through the right side of the infield in his last at bat. Otherwise, a fly ball to center field and a flare to second. Betancourt just hitting slightly over the Mendoza line this year at 205.
You got to be careful as a second baseman. You know, for me right now, and it's just my own opinion, hold your defense right where it is. You don't need to be worrying about holding a runner up. He wants to steal third, steal third. I got to get this guy at home plate.
With 2 outs, I couldn't agree with you.
You know, and I mean, the more you jockey around the middle of that infield, that you get back late to your position. And this guy's struggling, so now you get a good fastball, and he punches one through the right side. Now, you know what? Stay in your spot.
Which is what he did last time up.
And I don't know. I mean, something Billy Martin taught me years ago, and I'm not that Billy's a genius, but he won a lot of ball games. But Jim Leland's the same way today. Let your defense sit still. Okay, don't try to do anything. Badenhop and Axford now warming up down in their bullpen.
Good pitch by Belisle. Something in 2.
The other thing for me too, if you're the second baseman holding a runner, and all of a sudden you're jogging back to cover the hole, and the ball's hit up the middle, now you got to redirect. If you're sitting in a stationary position, you can move left or right, and much easier than you can trying to redirect yourself.
Crowd of buzz looking for the punch out. 2 strikes on Betancourt. Runner going, and it's fouled off. Here's the 0-2. Textbook job of blocking that slider by Torrealba. I mean, he got that chest way over the front side, put a roof on that baseball, and it dies right in front of him.
Well, but the reason why he's able to do that is he doesn't get deep behind the hitters. He's up underneath those hitters, so you don't have a big distance from the bounce to the body.
Two, and Gomez goes ahead and steals third. Gomez's 26th stolen base.
You say, well, you know, he didn't hold him. He's able to score there. He's going to score on a base hit either way, folks. He's got great speed.
The only thing it increases if you had a wild pitch. This ball well hit to left field. And it is going to get out of here. Oh, man. Betancourt has just given Milwaukee a 5-4 lead. His 11th of the year.
The last guy I would think that would take you deep in this game, in this park. I mean, he struggled all year long. They average at 204. They're 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Appears to be a slider that had more of a cement mixer move to it. It didn't get down to that outside part of the plate to where Matt typically puts it at. And then Betancourt, when he hit it, he knew by the sound off of the bat, pretty good chance it could get out of here, and it does.
Want to know on Francisco. Been 6 home runs in this ball game. 4 by the Rockies, 2 by the Brewers. 4th home run Bilal's allowed this year.
Still a pretty good number. 4 out of 51 innings. One about every 12.5 innings that you're out there pitching. And you're a 1-inning guy. That's a pretty good ratio.
And now you look to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies will have Tulowitzki, Kadire, and Helt. Chacin will get a no decision.
And it'll be going against Axford, who's been warming up out there in their bullpen. What a shame. Chacin threw the ball extremely well to walk away with an attaboy.
Bilal strikes out Francisco, but a double and a 2-run home run by Betancourt. And the Rockies trailed 5-4, middle of 8th. Who wants tacos? Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 in a game for the Rockies Taco Special, text the word taco to 720-720. When that does happen, Taco Bell and Root Sports will donate $250 to the Colorado I Have a Dream Foundation. John Axford is on the hill. First it'll be Troy Tulowitzki, then Michael Kadire here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Rockies saw the hard-throwing Axford yesterday. He's 4-3. Got 17 holds. The former closer of the Brewers now working in a setup role. And even with the departure of K-Rod, he remains in the 8th inning. Jim Henderson has been closing. That's how it worked last night. So Tulowitzki, Kadire, and Helt against Axford. Tulo hit a home run against Axford last night. That would work well here. How Far Did It Travel is brought to you by AAA Colorado. In the first inning, Tulowitzki's bomb against Donovan Hand went 408 feet. That's how far it traveled.
I thought he might try something a little bit different with Tulowitzki after the home run last night and the success Tulowitzki has had against him. 5 for 9 and a home run. Now, when you know Dead Red's coming, you're a good hitter. The way Tulowitzki is, and a good high ball, fastball hitter. It changes the odds towards Tulo pretty strongly, regardless of how hard it's coming in there.
3 straight breaking balls. It's 2-1. Let's see, from a pitcher standpoint, you're going away from your strength.
He's got a pretty good curveball. It's just a matter of locating it. And honestly, it's a matter of locating everything. But when you're throwing 96-mile-an-hour cheese and that's what you attack the zone with, you're liable to hang one of these hooks too.
And nothing but breaking balls. It's 3-1.
His confidence, he feels that if, hey, I'll walk to the whiskey, take my shot at Kadire and see what I can do with him and help and those guys. But this guy's killed me my whole career. Well, guess what? Kadire's 2 for 4 with a home run. I don't know if you read the whole sheet when you were looking down who's hurt and who's not. Todd Helton 2 for 7.
Came with the fastball finally and touched the outside corner evidently.
They got right on, maybe it didn't. Corey Blazer gave it to him anyway.
The way Troy hit the ball out last night, a fastball away, and he drove it over the auxiliary scoreboard.
Yeah, 97 miles an hour with that fastball.
Another 3-2. Pulled down the line, past a diving Betancourt. Tulowitzki to second with a leadoff double in the 8th.
I'm glad Tulowitzki got the double. Don't get me wrong. But someone would have to explain to me in that dugout of the Brewers why the third baseman would be off the line late in a ball game. Beyond the 7th, you always on it. It's a breaking ball. You can see how far he is away from the line. 2 steps and a dive. He's not there to the baseball. That makes no sense. I'm glad he was because Tulo's got a double. But he just cost his ball club too. I mean, that's just common sense baseball.
Yeah, standard operating procedure.
Why are you going to move closer now? It's comical.
Inside on Kadire. He homered in the 6th inning to tie up the game at 3. Kadire down the line, fair ball the other direction. That'll tie it up. Tulowitzki scores. Kadire digging for 2, back-to-back doubles.
I'm not sure what Bianchi was thinking about at second base coming in. That was pretty crazy on his part to get right in the middle of the slide coming into second base. Why do you can't be an observer? Michael Kadire's had a day, 60 RBIs now. Fastball elevated the zone. Shot down that right field line. That's going to allow Tulowitzki to come around to score and Kadire to get into position over here. You're going to see an argument right now with Angel Hernandez. He's pointing at where the ball hit. But going into second base here, he takes the legs out of Bianchi. Well, I'm not sure why you just stand there watching.
I don't know, but that gave pleasure. Not that he's trying to hurt anybody, but Michael Kadire doesn't mind collisions on the baseball field. Here it is coming at you. And that's a great call by Angel Hernandez. It was inside the line. Ron Redicky came out for a moment. And George, again, You play no doubles. You described it well, and you have 2 balls that go down each line.
And you're going to play off the line without help because you got a hard thrower. Doesn't make sense. If that's the case, don't play it, cheat up the middle and over third. I hope they take advantage of it here. The Rockies 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position today. The Brewers 3 for 9. This game is tied up. Helton 2 for 7 in his career against Axford, so he's got a shot here to do some damage. Well, so many times throughout his career, he's risen to this situation and taking good advantage of it. See if he can do it here.
Ball, 1 strike. Nobody out, and Helton drives this ball to deep left field. Guindo will make the catch, and Kadire will have to hold. Boy, off the bat, I thought that had a chance to
get over his head. Now, Nolan Arenado this year, for whatever reason, has come up numerous situations like this and come up with big base hits. Here it is again, late game. He's had 2 walk-offs so far in this very young career. He's a guy that I've watched, quite honestly, since low A, take advantage of these situations like this. He likes the moment. Most big players do.
Well, he's in the moment right now. And he checks his swing. Kadire's going to try to move up on the dirt ball, and he will. And that changes the at-bat for Arenado. It changes the defense for Milwaukee. Wild pitch by Axford.
His 3rd wild pitch of the year for Axford. He trying to bury the curveball on the youngster, and it's shot away. And Lucroy, a very good blocker of the baseball. But Kadire reading curveball in the dirt and took off. No hesitation.
So now you have the infield in, the outfield creeps in. Look at your chops if you're Arenado. Go ahead, run 90 feet away. That's in there. It's 1-1. Nolan a base hit through the right side his last time up. 1 for 3. Gomez, the best arm in the outfield. He's in center. That's where it goes, and it's going to drop. Kadire will come on down. Nolan Arenado comes through.
Again, it's been the glove, it's been the bat neglected at times because he hasn't been hitting with consistency in the month of July. But he has come up with base hits to drive in runs, and he does it again.
And George, you know again how disappointed he was after the triple by Helton not to be able to get a ball to the outfield.
Look at that focus, though. Look where his head is. Look where everything on that pitch is so perfect. Hands inside the baseball. Head never leaves the flight of the baseball. On the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, this is absolutely perfect. Thinking up the middle. Infield's in. All I got to do is hit it hard. If not, get it to drop in. Kadire will score 6-5 Rockies. How nice is this? And Oxford, after coming out for a 1/3 of an inning, will head to the showers.
Rockies up 6-5 in the 8th. with his sharp signal to center to deliver Michael Kadire. The inning began with back-to-back doubles from Tulowitzki and Kadire. What's next is brought to you by CenturyLink. Here's a preview of the first 3 pitching matchups in Atlanta, Georgia. Tomorrow, De La Rossi and the return of Brandon Beachy from Tommy John for the Braves. Juan Nicasio Tuesday against Alex Wood. Tyler Chatwood against the lefty Mike Minor on Wednesday. Here's Torey Alba with 1 out.
Batenhop, 4 double plays induced in 47 ball games. Surprising to me, because this is a guy that typically keeps the ball on the ground a lot.
One ball, 1 strike. Torey Alba 1 for 3. Single back in the 3rd inning. On the outside corner. Two and two. Arenado average speed at first. 3 and 2. Johnny Herrera on deck. Rockies won Friday. Last night they fell 7-5. Colorado was down 3-1 and 4-3 in this ball game. And then 5-4. Actually, they were up 4-3, down 5-4. Runner takes off and it's bounced to third. So the only play is to first for Betancourt. And Arenado's in scoring position for Johnny Herrera. Johnny will come up as Rex Brothers continues to throw in the Rockies' pen. He's got to be ready. He's been working for a while now.
Closers, different mindset. You just kind of leave them alone, let them do their thing. Whether they want to keep throwing, regardless of whether they're ready or not, you just let them keep doing what they need to do to get prepared to come in and throw those last 3 outs.
Johnny trying to deliver a little bit of insurance. Rockies have 12 hits today, and this is popped up and playable in foul ground. Rockies rally for 2 in the 8th. Tulowitzki, Kadire, Arenado, all in the middle of it. They erase a 1-run deficit, and they'll go to the 9th inning and hand the baseball to Rex Brothers, looking for 3 more outs. 6-5 Colorado. Off to the 9th. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By StubHub, fans, next time you plan a trip to Coors Field, head to StubHub where you can find great seats and earn great rewards. And by Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Ninth inning at Coors Field, the Rockies 6 and the Brewers 5. Rex Brothers getting ready to go. We go to center field and our Toyota postgame set where Jenny Kavnar will have a lot to do in a few minutes.
That's very true. Exciting 8th inning. We're going to start in the Toyota postgame show by talking about doubling down. That's exactly what the 3-4 hitters did, and Troy Tulowitzki and Michael Kadire both with doubles. That tied up the game, and then we'll talk a little clutch-nado. Nolan Arenado, the rookie, he seems to come through in big situations. Did it again today. Scored that go-ahead run on his RBI single. And we'll get to Brutalizer. That's Troy Tulowitzki against the Milwaukee Brewers. He has a career average over 400, just 2 for 4 tonight with an extra RBI that came from that home run. It's all coming up in the Toyota postgame show after baseball, guys.
Jenny, thank you.
You look chilly.
It's a little cold out here. Sun's coming out, though. Beautiful day. Can't complain.
Rex Brothers, first pitch in there for a strike to Jeff Bianchi.
6 of 7 save opportunities by Brothers. He talks about a lot in conversation about having the downward plane. Extension on that fastball. Helps to get the slider where it needs to be. The numbers on Rex Brothers this year. Outstanding. 2-0, 127 earned run average, 42 innings, 42 2/3, 28 hits. He's walked 22, but he has struck out 44 in those 42 2/3 with a 188 opposition batting average.
He's got Bianchi, backup shortstop. Chris Davis is on deck to hit for the pitcher, and then Ricky Weeks. And he struck out Bianchi. He'll get the out at first. 1 gone in the ninth. Today's Save of the Week is brought to you by the region's Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your local consumer-owned electric cooperative delivering reliable power and energy-saving tools and more. Visit TogetherWeSave.com. Well, this is Rex Brothers against the Marlins on Wednesday. Getting the job done, and he hopes to add to his Save of the Week total here on a Sunday afternoon against the Milwaukee Brewers. Brothers has taken over for Rafael Betancourt, who's on the disabled list again with an appendectomy. Chris Davis, as we mentioned, the pinch hitter, and he takes ball 1.
Recently recalled Davis from the minor leagues, 3 for 12. He does have a home run as a pinch hitter with 1 RBI.
At 92 at the knees for a strike. Good spot. It's 1-2. Yeah, you combine his numbers with the other Chris Davis, they have 38 bombs, George.
If you could, you would, you should. Unfortunately, you can't. It's all in the family, right?
Kid goes to the ballpark. I got Chris Davis's autograph.
Yeah, which Chris Davis did you get?
Not to beat up this Chris Davis. He's a young player trying to make his way. And the other Chris Davis has kind of established himself, hasn't he?
Just a little bit.
Two-two. To right, Cuddy coming on. He's got 2 outs in the 9th inning. Take a look at our Coors Light freeze can. Corey Dickerson, this one he'll never forget. His first career home run is a huge swing in this game. The Rockies had not done anything really against Hand. They had the Tulowitzki first inning home run. That made it 3-2 in the 6th inning. couple of hitters later, Kadire went deep to tie it up. That's brought to you by Crossbrewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Torrealba, George, just went to the mound to have a quick conversation with Rex Brothers, because Ricky Weeks, not much of an average, but Ricky Weeks can leave the ballpark.
He can do that, but the thing is, you don't lose that aggressiveness. He crowds the plate. He's going to be up on top of the plate. You just make your pitch, put it in your location, because you don't want to get in a situation where you're fearful of Ricky Weeks. I never liked a catcher or a manager coming to the mound going, hey, be careful with this guy. Well, then bring somebody else in if you don't think I can get him out.
Here's the 1-0. And Weeks went around. 1-1.
How did Corey Blazer not see him go around?
Hard throwing Rex Brothers. Here's the 1-1, and the slider was dirty. He missed that by a foot. 1-2.
Make sure that you get on top. You get that extension. Rex talks about that downward plane. He brought it from first base to third base. A big, hard slider.
Crowd of more than 33,000 on their feet. Rockies trying to close out the homestand with a win over Milwaukee. And a bouncer right back to Brothers. Throw to first is high. Safe at first. It'll be an error on Brothers.
It is the high throw. Helton thought he came down and tied him. Angel Hernandez at first didn't see it that way. I see why he didn't. It doesn't matter how he saw it at all. Brothers got to throw that ball hard to first base. Lolly popped it over. Unfortunately, the ball stayed high and everybody and he's safe.
Give Weeks credit because he ran hard.
That's exactly right. Game's never over till it's over.
Aoki at the plate. He hits it in the air to center. This one should do it. Dexter's got it, and the Rockies have a come from behind victory over Milwaukee 6-5. Rex Brothers nails down the save. Belisle gets the victory. He's 5-5. Axford takes the loss. He's 4-4 for Rex. It is his 7th save, and a very gratifying way to end what has been a tough homestand. The Rockies will finish 5-5 as they take 2 of 3 from Milwaukee. They did it with the long ball this afternoon. They hit 4 solo home runs. And then they had that rally in the bottom of the 8th, led by Tulowitzki, Kadire, and Nolan Arenado. Today's Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery. The game is brought to you by Jimmy John's. Visit jimmyjohns.com to find a location near you. Ball game tied at 5. Michael Kadire in third. At the plate, Nolan Arenado, and he zips a fastball to center field. The line shot scored Kadire, and that is the game winner. Nolan Arenado coming through. He's developing a reputation not only as a great defensive player, but a clutch performer as well late in ball games. Plenty to do on the Toyota postgame set. So without further ado, we go there now. Jenny Kavnar and Jeff Houston. Jenny?
Thanks, Drew, very much.